Hey y'all, happy Monday. Well, as I'm bouncing y'all all over the place already. Hope you guys are all having a good Monday so far. It is definitely a Monday. That is for sure. Let me go up here. Give me a second. Let me find a banner. There we go. And let's go ahead and get this intro rolling so we can have some discussions.
You're beautiful but unsatisfied since day one. You were getting teased and it scarred you when you were young. Now you're getting older and you've been on the grind. Your paper off the scale so you feel like it's time. So you got a nose job, that's the primary thing. People teased you as a kid and for some reason you hit. Always into high fashion, girl, you heavy like lead. Liposuction out your shell like a chicken and egg. Feeling confident but now you're becoming obsessed. First your nose, then your weight, now your butt and your breast. It's a vanity fair, cosmetic overdose. Fiending for a next operation like it was dope. Now you feel the need to skin pill, your skin's no good. But if those around you were real, they'll tell you the truth. Just because you spending thousands, that don't make it alright. Had one problem, now it's many going under the knife. Your lips, breasts, butt, legs, waist, hips, nose and chest, waistline, facelines, looking your best. Do it like the rest, Vanity Fair. I said your lips, breasts, butt, legs, waist, hips, nose and chest, waistline, facelines, looking your best. Do it like the rest, Vanity Fair. Come on. Vanity Fair, yeah. Changing one or two things, cool girl, do you? Do you wanna be beautiful and look like you? Or do you wanna look like someone you saw in a magazine or video, but not in the raw? I like nice shaped bodies, bikinis Brazilian, but too much of anything just isn't appealing. Some people spend a lifetime, even a million. No grace like those unhappy with chilling. A girl with a big butt, big lips, small hips is what we all love to see, and men dream about this. There is nothing wrong with getting something broken fixed. Some women get a breast job cause cancer assists. Some women want to please their man and insist. And a woman really loves you if she wants to do this. But abuse ain't the same as intention with care. So be careful of the drug called the Vanity Fair. Vanity Fair. Your lips, breasts, butt, legs, waist, hips, nose and chest, waistline, facelines, looking your best. Do it like the rest, Vanity Fair. I said your lips, breasts, butt, legs, waist, hips, nose and chest, waistline, facelines, looking your best. Do it like the rest, Vanity Fair. Your lips, breasts, butt, legs, waist, hips, nose and chest, waistline, facelines, looking your best. Do it like the rest, Vanity Fair. I said your lips, breasts, butt, legs, waist, hips, nose and chest, waistline, faceline, look at your best. Do it like the rest, Vanity Fair. Come on.
Hey y'all. Okay, I'll take that off the screen for a second. Let me go over here. Good morning, Summer Butterfly, Outlaw Trucker, Smiles. I guess it's afternoon in some places. Hey Viv, Kathy P, and it's probably evening in others. Brenda, Jackie, Cool Gamer, Skip to My Lou, Angel, Ella Bella, Miss Lee, Grandma Sherry, Rhett's mom, Brittany, No Effing Way, Kitten Claus, Bash, Grandma Sherry, Shopaholic. I'm still squinting. I just need to do it, but I don't have time. Hey, Felony Melanie. All right, y'all. I'm probably going to ruffle some feathers like I normally do, but this Carly situation is turning into complete exploitive BS. Sorry. I'm going to say it like it is. I get people have questions. I get there was a nationwide interest in this case, but do you know how many people out here that we have that are missing, that were, whatever the case may be in that story, the details haven't came out. I'm starting to really see the difference between true crime and crime. It's pretty blaringly obvious. Hey, Nikki. Hey, over here. Hey, Les. It's starting to just, hey, Nikki, again. Yeah, it's starting to get ridiculous. You can't, anywhere you turn, it's something with this weird speculation. You know what my hope is? Well, here, first and foremost, let me say I am so thankful she is found alive. No matter what the situation is, I'm glad she's alive. 100%. That's it. If it was a mental health situation, it's not a hoax. Mental health situations are real. Hey, the truth. And who are we to be determining what somebody else the ignorance on this internet is beyond belief. I get people have questions. I get there's concern if there's, somebody on the loose. They would inform people that, just like in Idaho. They would inform people. There's such a fine line between awareness, getting the word out there, and exploitation. I tried to look at TikTok today, just for an instance. I was disgusted. People were talking about the Carly situation, the Carly, that she was home, and they were wildly speculating, calling her horrible things, making up these complete insane rumors, passing them on. Meanwhile, they're having TikTok battles. Now tell me how that's not exploiting this. I don't care what the situation is. At the end of the day, thank God she's home. Thank God she's home. And if it's a mental health issue, it's not a freaking hoax. Mental health issues are plaguing the entire society. And who are we to judge, what she did or didn't see, or what did or didn't happen? Are you guys a part of the problem, or are you part of the solution? Because many of you are looking like you're part of the problem. Especially the TikTok. I am disgusted. This is why I don't go on TikTok true crime, because it's so sensationalized and it's so disgusting. But I want to talk about some other stuff going on YouTube, because I think we're also getting into this tunnel vision. Like right now, Zav Girl is the face of the bad actors. Do you know how many people are out here just like her? Exactly, Cash. She's alive. Great. Do you know how hard it is going to be if she is in a mental health crisis? This piling on top of her is not a good thing. People deal with suicidal ideation all the freaking time. We should be rejoicing that she came home alive, no matter what the circumstances. Do you know how hard it is for women of color to get attention on social media that are missing? Do you know how much energy could be put into the people who were snatched and are currently missing, and they do deserve attention? Why aren't we doing that? Carly came home. Great. Move on. That's that fine line of exploitation, of clicks and views, because people want to know. People think that they deserve some sort of answer. Now, this is probably going to piss some people off. There's a post made by Harsh Reality just a little while ago. I didn't even follow him. Somebody else shared it that I do follow. And I was like, oh, scream it from the rooftops. We've talked about Annie Elise over here. Annie Elise released body cam footage of Marvon, a Marine veteran, for those of you that are new here, a Marine veteran's attempted unaliving, filled with misinformation. I got heated, did a live about it. I said what I had to say. She didn't have any concern about the victim or the victim's family. She has been a part of the problem, not a part of the solution. But she has 600 and some K. So Texas tip, it doesn't even matter if you care for him or not. He's not being on this part of, we get so tunnel vision on we like this person or we don't like this person, or we can see this. It's across the board. A lot of true crime creators sensationalize and do horrible things. Annie Elise, the reason why Harsh's post stood out to me is because she releases stuff in her Patreon too. I don't know the content of it. No, I'm in jean shorts today. That's what I'm wearing today. But she has done other things. And we get so tunnel vision, oh, well, that one has a better way of delivery. So, okay, cool. She's passing misinformation on cases. This wasn't even a case that Annie got into. It wasn't even a case. A man's attempted unaliving. Do you think that they went over the police report and said his wife was cleared of everything? No, she took it down and edited it. But do you think if we wouldn't have said something, she wouldn't have? No, she wouldn't have. They would have kept it moving. Do you know how many cases are getting exploited every single day? Let's take a look. Summer Wells. How many creators every day, all day long, do you guys see talking about Summer Wells that claim that they're true crime? How many? You have leggings on today? Revival's got the leggings today. How many true crime creators only focus on Summer Wells? You ain't true crime. You're an exploiter over a family's tragedy and a little missing girl. You aren't true crime. You cannot claim you're true crime and focus on one missing child and exploit the hell of that out of that case. Spanky. There's so many. There's so many of them. I could go on and on and on. They're not true crime. They mask themselves as this, but all they do is exploit these people at their worst times. Summer's case, I cannot even barely get into it. And the reason for it is because this is a missing child. She is still missing. And all they want to talk about is the drama or this or that. Hey, Zooter. It is absolutely maddening. Yeah, Kelly, absolutely they have. Hey, KB. Hey, Quartz. Hey, T. Hey, everybody popping in. It's so frustrating because Zav is getting some attention. Granted, it's about freaking time. It's about time. But why do all the rest of them get away with it? Why do they get away with it? And then as soon as you start to call these people out, oh, well, you're giving attention to them. You're giving attention to them. That brings them views. So we're just supposed to ignore it and let them continue to exploit these families on their weakest moments? What? Oh, I don't even care about her at all, Cash. I don't follow nothing to do with her. I tried to keep up on the stuff with Burnt Toast and what she was doing there. I don't even know what her deal is. That's just a whole shit show in itself. Like that's just drama, and it has been drama all along. Amica Cream. It just really shows the difference between true crime and hi Mario and the actual people who do true crime and do it well with victim centered. And then you have a lot of bad actors out here that just exploit these cases. The story to tell, yes. Hey, Electro. Hey, Forgotten. Yeah, Nikki. Yeah, we're not done there. We're not done there. By the way, let's get into some of this because I want to talk about some of this. Hey, Above the Trees. Thank you guys for all joining me today. Oh my God, Catherine. Oh, those two every day, all day long. I think Doug did Dylan Rounds. I think that was the case he was on when I first stumbled across him. And then it was like Dylan in Summer. Dylan in Summer. And do you realize how harmful these people are? They are actually harmful to these cases. They are so harmful. Yeah, Quartz, absolutely. Yeah. Mario, we were talking yesterday. I dropped that video. If anybody hasn't seen that video, it's kind of eye-opening, to be honest. She had full intent of what she was doing. Like, she knew what she was doing. She was advertising for it over a week in advance before. She was directing traffic, but she's no different than a lot of these people. It's all about who can be first, who can sensationalize it most, who can get the clicks and the views. Where did the awareness go? Where did the victim advocacy pieces of this go? Granted, a lot of them claim to be victims advocates, just like Bullhorn Betty, and they just use it to spew complete insane propaganda. Like, it's disappointing. Hey, Pedal. Yeah, but he's on Kick Pedal. That's what I've seen. And people are kind of like the same thing with Molly. When Molly lost her channel, people were bringing her back over here a little bit because she was still attempting to make waves. Now she's pretty much been forgotten about, thankfully. Hey, Lurker. Hey, Paige. Okay, let's look at this. I wanted to pull this up right quick this morning before I get into some of this. We're going to look at some BHB today. Crazy, I know. I don't usually do anything with her, but I think it's time. All right. So what this says here on your screen, he's talking, which I'll back up, but it says attorney seeks federal ban on obtaining children's autopsy photos. This was July 13th, 2023. So some of you guys have already seen this. This is from News Nation. How did a YouTuber obtain the gruesome autopsy photos of 11-year-old Gannon Stouch? The rules on releasing information vary state by state. There's the pop-up. And one family wants to change that. There needs to be some legislation at both the state and federal level to correct these issues, attorney Matt Henson said Thursday evening during an appearance on Dan Abrams Live. Henson is all too familiar with the agony family members of a crime victim can feel. He represents the family of 13-year-old Tristan Bailey, who was fatally stabbed more than 100 times in 2021 by a classmate. Oh, so many horrific cases. With multiple records requests to access the crime scene photos of the young cheerleader, Henson helped the Bailey family push through their pain to modify the laws in Florida. Backed by the Tristan Bailey Foundation, Senate Bill 404 was signed into law in Florida. It prohibits the release of crime scene images involving the killing of a child. Henson felt compelled to speak about the law after hearing that a YouTuber obtained autopsy photos of 11-year-old Gannon's body and charged people money to view them online. The bigger picture here is not just what's happening in a state-by-state perspective, but what are we doing as a society to protect these children and protect the victims and the families in these situations, Henson said. He continued, I think we would probably consider the holy grail of victim advocacy to be getting the federal government and the legislature and Congress to do something about protecting these children on a larger scale. News Nation's senior national correspondent, Brian Enton, reports the YouTuber going by the name Zav Girl made a Freedom of Information Act request for the autopsy photos of Gannon Stouch. Now that's up in the air because we've heard multiple different things about how she went about getting these. So some say that it was a records request. They continue to say FOIA. Whatever the case may be, she got the photos. Well, it's currently unclear who released the pictures of the child, which is odd to me. Henson said it appears the images were shared following a public records request made to Colorado. Once the person running the Zav Girl account had the photos in their possession, Enton says she charged followers $3 on Patreon to view the child's body. A representative with Patreon confirmed Thursday the account has been removed from their platform. We removed Zav Girl from Patreon for violations of our community guidelines for violent and graphic content. To create a safe environment for users, Patreon does not allow content glorifying or promoting violence of any kind, the spokesperson told News Nation. Then why do we have other YouTubers that claim to be true crime posting gory, graphic videos in their Patreon and getting away with it? I'm not really sure. Double standard much? Gannon Stouch's father, Al, told News Nation he believes in the freedom of information, but thinks the problem is not being able to control what someone with bad intentions might do. The world got enough information from the trial to have every discussion they want to have. Why do we need to go have a freedom of information request and pay for this kind of information, then dishonor my son by putting these photos out there like that, Al asked. And in this instance, someone has taken that freedom and turned it into evil, he continued. Yeah, unfortunately, majorly. After receiving backlash, the YouTuber posted a statement about releasing the images, but it was later deleted. She did. She doubled down. In part, she posted, the reality of the situation is different, is that different people feel differently about this. Some people genuinely think that making a video, including the autopsy photos, is bad, and I respect their opinions and feelings. Other people, like myself, think autopsy photos and coroner discussing, explaining them as interesting and informative, and are able to view it in all a more scientific, detached way. Al said that it isn't about understanding a criminal case, it's about respect for his son. What I will say to her or anyone who's doing these sort of things is what I've said all along, that this is not about anyone's opinions or if you view it as scientific discussion or anything like that. This is about the respect for a little boy who tragically lost his life and did not deserve this. We should respect that, Al said. Now, the Bailey family is demanding that respect. That's what the family is dedicated to do. They are set. They're going to do this across the United States and help other families in other states, Henson said. Prosecutor said that Letitia stabbed her stepson, Gannon, 18 times. 18 times in Colorado. Well, the child tried to fight her off before she hit him in the head and then shot him. From there, she stuffed the 11-year-old's body in a suitcase and drove to Florida to dump it over a bridge. She was found guilty of first-degree murder in May and sentenced to life in prison, which will never be enough. Never. It'll never be enough. Never be enough what she got. But here's my issue. This has happened before. Tristan Bailey's family has gone through this before. There were laws in place protecting the crime scene photos because of that in Florida. There's always going to be some workaround. There's always going to be somebody that's willing to do more and more to these cases. And unfortunately, the YouTube quote unquote true crime community, like some of them like to tote themselves, do this on a daily basis and it gets overlooked. They don't do their research. They pass off misinformation. They sensationalize things. They turn it into exploitation. They don't wait for factual information to come out. It's always about who can get the clicks and the views and make the most money off of it. These are real lives. These are real families that will forever have to live with this trauma. Just like the Carly situation right now. Do you think even if they're to come out and tell everybody everything that happened, it's going to be enough? It's never going to be enough. People feel so entitled to every little detail. Are we even owed these answers? Think about that. Who are we to demand these answers? And then some YouTubers will talk about this for months and months. I don't know where we go from here because it's just a growing problem. And watching how this Carly situation has turned so quickly, it makes me sick that people almost act as if they're disappointed that she was found alive. I can't. Do you know how many people are missing that they could talk about? They don't care. So tell me how you're really true crime if you're, so invested in just the trending topics. If you only give a shit about the trending topics and the trending stories to get you in the algorithm, what are you doing? I guess that's called karma, huh? I guess that's the difference between true crime creators and people who just sensationalize shit for clicks and views. I don't know. It's really disappointing. It's super disappointing. The drama shit for me, I can't. These stories have no business being mixed in with drama. These are real lives. Drama community is disgusting. To me, if you I can't with it. I just can't. Yeah, T, absolutely not. They're not victim centered. And that it comes very apparent if you watch Zav. She knew what she was doing. She's not victims focused at all. She's focused about the mind of the person who committed these heinous acts. Okay, cool. Do that then. Do that. Stick to that. Stop using these families and their tragedies as exploitation and clicks and views. I'm going to show you guys that some. Oh yeah, that's a whole genre in itself where they do a little bit of true crime, a little bit of drama. They go after other creators, the creators within the true crime. You're not doing it well. It's a fucking disgusting mess. Basically, all it is exploitation. People exploiting anything they can. Hey, Phoenix. Hey, Trauma Punks. Absolutely, Britt. Is it Bright? Britt. I always screw that up. That's Laura. Curious. Oh, That bitch has hoax on her thumbnail with the Carly situation. Now, you have a woman who was fired from a job because she had no empathy, pointing out that this is potentially a hoax. Bitch, sit down. Sit down. You aren't needed. She ain't true crime. Anybody saying she's true crime? She ain't true crime. She doesn't know her. Ooh, that one doesn't even have a brain. Becky, be nice. Be nice, Becky. I can't with some of these people though. Like it is. But Harsh pointed out that, it is double-sided out here. If you like a certain creator or, they're likable, people overlook certain things that are being done. I think it is too, Sheila. Yeah, Paige. Yeah. Shopaholic, sometimes I feel like I'm going nuts though, because I'm sitting back here watching all these people jump in this, and I'm like, you just showed me who you are. You're nothing but straight drama, and you're nothing but trauma. Stay the fuck away from me. I want nothing to do with it. I want nothing to do. If there is no second guessing in you to go live and exploit these tragedies the way that they are. Hey, Matt, what's up? Bright. I'm sure it's Bright, but I always Hulk. Yeah, I get called the Hulk too. People are offended by my shoulders. There's a difference in speculation and trying to find the truth of a crime and pushing speculative theory in a family blaming making money, especially when it involves children. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? Here's the crazy part to me is they move on. So information will come out to completely debunk, like factual information will come out, and it will completely throw a ringer in all of their previous content or blatantly dispel their theories. Do you think they remove them? No. Hell no. So you got people out here watching Zav Girl, for instance, videos on Kylie Rodney, thinking that girl might not even have existed if they only watched that one. There's so much misinformation, and they just run with it, and then they move on to the next one. And here they go with the wild theories again. It is so epically disappointing. And you know how many people do what I do? That stick to the facts, stick to their words, use their own words to debunk their bullshit and misinformation? Very few. We have a lot of commentary channels, but it is Perplex QT is what her name is on here. I am the real American. Show them half 20 python arms. Blank screen. Let's pull up Betty right quick because I want to talk about that too. It's just disappointing. I'm disappointed. I'm so disappointed in so many people. There is very few people that will just continue to stick to the truth and the facts and let that run. There is so very few. They get in the weeds. And here's the thing. When you call these people out on their poor behavior, they come at you like gnats. They dox you. They do all these things. The bigger creators do the same thing. They rile up their subs. They weaponize their subs. They try to shut you up. They try to shut you down. Come at me. I don't care. I have this little tiny little channel over here, and none of you faze me. Like, I don't care how many subs you have. I don't care how many people on this platform have kissed your ass. Ain't gonna happen here. I don't care. I'm not a clicky girl. I'm not looking for somebody to stroke my ego. Oh God, Betty. Ooh. All right. I'm going to torture you guys. Just for a minute. Ugh, I can't even. This one. Hey, Betty, in my opinion, a little bit of your racism is showing. But, what do I know? Okay, so we're going to go to about the 25-minute. Well, actually, we'll start right here because she kind of says some stuff. Oh, yeah, she plays. Oh, this one. She plays herself for context and content. Like, she's playing her TikToks for factual information. Betty, just because you said it on a different platform doesn't mean it's true. I know. This all falls under the fair use guidelines and is based on my opinion only. It is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Betty, I need to know how you got that fluff going on. Do you like blow dry it to get that fluff going on? I don't know. I don't have that much body in my hair. So, all right, here you go. Here we go.
Early Sunday morning, I learned very soon that Carly Russell had been found. So a lot of stuff has transpired since then. So we're going to get into that here in just a few moments. But before we start, I want to say good morning to all the beautiful people here on YouTube that are here, started by Van Lady, the first to say good morning.
No,
I see you. I see you.
I see you. It's a scumbag. Okay, I see her too.
All right, everybody else, good morning. It's great to have you here this morning. A lot of, waves have been made across YouTube about this case, as I stated. Uncle Mike, it's nice to see you. Slim Skittles, Southern Grammy Wolf, it's nice to have you.
If you don't know who ICU is, just to clarify too, she is a mod for a lot of these terrible creators who do a lot of horrific things. She is a part of passing people's backgrounds around. She was a part of exploiting Jose's phone calls after he was deceased. She was a part of hunting Jose down, who was a character that they tried to really heavily interject in the Summer Wells case. She has a heavy hand in a lot of this stuff. She is part of what we call Who's on the Ground.
But
which used to consist of JLR, Molly, BHB, Olivia, Dolly, Spanky, and Mallory. Molly's deplatformed, but calls JLR her boss still. So I think that's left now is Betty, JLR, Molly from other platforms, maybe. I don't know. I don't think Spanky's with them anymore. Olivia got the boot. I don't really know. Their hooves they're not as many anymore.
I got a treat. So since we didn't go to Alabama, which kind of sucked because you have to schedule hotels and so everything kind of got a little wonky with that whole situation. But we were going to go out there and we were going to try to help. And I'm glad she's found, but there's been some things.
I'm glad she's found, but I'm really not, because I went and printed off all these flyers and I was going to go to Alabama and start protesting with my bullhorn and screaming in everybody's faces because I give a shit, right? That's what I'm claiming. I'm so glad that Carly came home and she is safe. And no matter what the case may be, she is safe. And Betty didn't have an opportunity to step foot in the area.
I like my audience. I don't deceive my audience. And so we're just going to have to address the things and the elephant in the room, as uncomfortable as it might be and as unpopular as it may be to discuss. We're going to discuss it. But first,
the only elephant in the room. Never mind.
Last night I had.
Be nice, Becky. Y'all, if you're new here, welcome in. I am a smartass. I cuss like a truck driver. I say what I say. I mean what I say, and I stand on what I say. I am blunt as they come, and I'm unapologetic as fuck. If you can't handle the real rawness, probably not the place for you. I appreciate you coming in, checking it out, but just brass tacks. I don't sugarcoat shit.
Had an opportunity to go to the Sound of Freedom movie, and I watched it, and wow. By a show of ones in my chat, how many people have had an opportunity to watch Sounds of Freedom? I know it's like a 20-second kind of delay, but I just want to know how many people have seen the video. The case is so bizarre and mind-boggling. Oh my gosh, Sylvia, you are not lying. And we're going to get into the details, but you're going to have some facts here. Oh. And,
you're going to have some facts here, okay? You heard it. You heard it. Be prepared. You're going to have some facts.
I don't want to say one way or another, but I have my mind pretty much made up, short of new information coming out. So how many people? One. So, okay. So we do have some people in the chat. Okay. Emmy hasn't. I recommend you do. And we're going to, I have to, after this live is over, I'll put the link in for those that can't afford a ticket. They're giving away free tickets for it. So I'll make sure I put the free ticket link, or to sign up at least for the free ticket link in the description. It's not there now, but by the time this live is over, I will put it in there. Okay. So I had a chance to see it. Let's go over here. Let's see what I have to say. Well, hello, TikTok. So Bullhorn Betty,
she is using this shit cracks me up. Hold on, I want to tell you about it, but I already did a TikTok, so I can't reiterate it. I'm going to pull up my TikTok because I'm too lazy to explain it again.
am out in front of the AMC movie theater here in Manatee County, and I just watched The Sounds of Freedom here at this movie theater.
By the way, if you like coverage on BHB, Headstones and Headlines does a great job. Her and Burnt Toast nail Betty so well. Like, I could never compare. They do a great job. Thank you again, Headstones and Headlines. I appreciate that. But go check them out. If I have a mod in here, could you drop her link for me, please? I'll do it.
I have to tell you, this story gave me goosebumps.
Hey, SoFlo.
It was hard to watch in a lot of respects, you know, with my past and background, just seeing this, even though I didn't have a story like this, just the violation of it, and seeing these children, really realizing that 2 million children worldwide go missing, that this is a lucrative business. And I think the most alarming aspect and the most alarming statistic is this trade has gone up 5,000% year over year. So this is becoming a major issue here, not just in the United States, but around the world. So we're just going to give kudos to the filmmakers, Angel Studios, for the wonderful production that they did. I think it was the messaging at the end that really solidified it. You know,
are you talking about the credits?
I always talk about everybody's voice. Everybody has a voice on my social media platforms. And this is one person that stood up and decided to do something because it was the right thing to do.
So anytime somebody does stand up and have a voice, though, you don't encourage people to use their voice as long as it goes along with what you think or what you say. You don't encourage, you try to silence people, Betty. Do you remember your phone call to me, Betty? And your little veiled threat that you left me because I was speaking out about your buddies? You gonna call me again?
I do. And just,
you got my number.
Just the messaging of this story. The heroes are the children.
The heroes are the children.
It just moved me. And I hope each and every one of you get your tickets. There's a way to get tickets for free. Go to Angel Studios and you can sign up for your free tickets. They're also paying it forward. There's a lot of ways to get the pay it forward tickets. So I hope everybody gets the opportunity to see Sounds of Freedom. It was definitely a great movie. God bless. Oh, and one other thing. This is the person that I was with. Hi, everyone.
Olivia, she must have been welcomed back into the hooves.
Watch The Sound of Freedom. It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yep.
So we had a lot of, you know, it was very emotional. You know, I looked over and I have to be honest with you. It moved me. You know, there were certain parts of it that, you know, I teared up. I remember looking over at Mom and you could see she teared up.
No, you have emotion about children being oh God, this one.
And so I think this really hit home what happens. And it also, a lot of these kids that are here in America that are in this trade, honestly, aren't from here. There are a lot that are, but these kids are being plucked over in Guatemala, other places. I mean, it literally is a worldwide network. And they're saying that the United States is the #1 consumer of that worldwide network. That, my friend, is disgusting.
What's disgusting is the fact that you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about and you continue to talk about it like you're an expert in the situation. You have no idea even remotely the problems that we see. And then you, of course, have to bring in non-American.
It's disgusting. What in our country are we doing to our people that would make them be intrigued, or, you know, it's just, it's foul. It's foul. I don't know.
But you are sitting here defending your buddy for releasing autopsy photos of an 11-year-old child. You defend terrible behavior of what is done to children and victims all the time. As long as you guys can exploit their tragedies, So tell me again how much you actually give a shit about these children and what's being done to these children.
Know what else to say. It's foul. If you have not had an opportunity, it is a very, very moving production. It goes right to the heart of everything that we fight against each and every day. This is the most disgusting of our society across this country and across this world. It's the most depraved of this country and across this world. And I'm glad that somebody is bringing this to the forefront, because honestly, our numbers here in the United States are wrong. They're wrong. We have a bigger problem and a bigger crisis than we ever even know about. And you add kids coming from other countries that our country doesn't even know exists. And you've got a real big problem here. Oh my God. A real big problem. And a very sick, disgusting problem. And I think.
You want to know what else is a problem? All those kids that are still separated from their parents. That's a big problem, but you don't want to talk about that shit, do you, Betty?
That movie, and again, I think everybody should be watching that, and I hope you do. I hope you have an opportunity. Give yourself an opportunity to get educated. Give yourself an opportunity to get educated. So I enjoyed it. I had popcorn and I had soda and I had an enjoyable time. I had some tears. At the end, I got to tell you.
How many times has she told us she cried during this? We don't give a shit. We don't give a shit. Yay, you were human for a second. Okay.
It's very, very seldom I go in and watch a movie at a movie theater. When the movie is done, people clap. It's very, very rare that I go and watch any type of box office hit, with Tom Cruise. And by the time they're done, they're like, oh, yeah, man. You don't get that at a Tom Cruise video. I'm telling you, the movie theater heard when this movie ended.
There's a difference between Tom Cruise in an action video. That's called fiction. Versus a documentary based on a real life situation. There's a huge difference in that, Betty.
The entire movie theater heard when this movie ended. You need to go watch it. So I hope you do. I hope you do. Has anyone seen the conspiracy theories surrounding this? There is a story, people coming across a group of children, a UFO. You know what? To be honest with you, who was it? I think it was somebody in my mod squad. We were in there talking about theories, and that's what they said. They said pretty soon somebody's going to come up with a UFO theory. I'm not lying. That's what they said. That's what they said. But getting to back to the case, I wanted to go through just a few things with you guys about this case. So when I came,
trigger warning, I'm going to cuss a bitch out.
I made a plea to all of social media, the entire platform, to please pick up this case, because the nature of this case, this is what we were presented with when we heard the case, that a woman was driving down the road and saw a young toddler on the side of the road, stopped to check on that child, to make sure that child was okay, called law enforcement, and then called her family member, and she vanished. Her and the kid vanished. No sight of them again. This was alarming, because you're talking about being a good Samaritan. You're talking about a little child, and you're talking about a good Samaritan and a little child literally being plucked off the face of the earth on the side of a busy interstate. And even at that time, even at that time, we didn't know that the interstate was as busy as it is. I learned after the story broke how busy, in fact, that interstate is. We saw a lot of stuff. It was unclear. Like I believe we were hitting on all the right things. Like I was talking about the flashing lights as it was approaching in the camera. We just didn't know what that meant. I thought she may have found the child down the road, called them, and then got to the sign as the what do they call it? The marker,
why can't I? Sometimes things just don't pop in my head when they need to. But just
The mile marker? Is that what you're talking about?
as a large marker that was easily identified by law enforcement. That's
Are you fucking joking? You don't even know what a mile marker is called?
what I was thinking. It seemed
Stop bleaching your hair. It's affecting your brain cells, the few that you have left.
practical that you'd move the car up to the most lit area, and it seemed like she moved it up fairly to a lit area. So it's
Huh? A lit area? Oh my
seemed
Lord.
to us, we didn't know what all that meant because we were believing, because we know for a fact law enforcement came out as a statement of fact that she called them to report this child. So we know that happened. And so we were basing all this off of
Who the fuck is we? You and your conspiracy theorist buddies that run rampant and exploit these cases on the daily, like JLR sitting in Idaho, causing more harm up there? Who's we?
her telling that story and that situation actually happening. So this was a very, very, very scary situation for many of us. To think that a child could be on the side of the road, possibly as bait. That's what I was thinking. If that story was true, what purpose would this child be? We talked about all the theories that would come across why a child would be out there and where she might be. It wasn't until the ending, like kind of,
What in the fuck are you looking at the ceiling for? Can anybody tell me why the hell does she do this? Like, is she waiting for a thought to smack her in the fucking head? What is she looking for? What are you looking for, Betty?
reeling down, not quite at the 48 hours, but kind of reeling down when I finally found the social medias for Carly, that I started seeing her literally like 10 or 12 minutes before talking about how she wants a family. There were some Twitter tweets that.
So she found it acceptable to go snoop, which a lot of people do. I understand. I get it. But she turned it into a complete narrative. She went and found these posts. Now, again, trigger warning, because she's trying to turn some, in my opinion, very vague, innocent type posts that are typical from a 25-year-old. Like nothing, there is nothing out of the ordinary to me whatsoever, unless you want to make it into this bigger thing. Like her posts do not lead to any type. It's just not what she's trying to make it out to be.
That were posted, and it really started. I started realizing that there was some emotional stuff going on here with her and her life, and so I posted on TikTok this. And I misspoke at the end a little bit because I said reported a child missing, but I was thinking that because the child would have had to been missing somewhere, I think, or it was just a misspeak. But I wanted you guys to hear this. This is kind of where this started turning for me. And it literally was just a few hours before she returned home when I started realizing that there's more to the story than this abduction. And here is that, because I want you guys, if you guys haven't been over to my TikTok, you should go over to my TikTok and sign up. I do post a lot of stuff on there that I don't post
Oh
on
my
here.
gosh, guys. Did you guys see this? This came from Carly
Oh my gosh, guys. Oh my gosh.
on July 12th, the day before she disappeared. Read it. People are such creeps. Like this man stared at me while sitting in his car for like 10 minutes.
That was one.
And a creepy dude staring at you in a car for 10 minutes? Okay, cool. What the fuck does that mean? Let me guess. You were about to go on the whole theory of that maybe that creepy guy followed her because she made a post about some weirdo looking at her. I mean,
One, hold on, that wasn't the one. This is the one. Sorry. And that was another one the day before.
Hey guys,
This was
Bullhorn
the
Betty. So this is going to add to the level of.
all right. I don't know what's going on TikTok, if the filters are messed up or what, but Betty, the close-ups are doing you no favors. Get a filter on that bitch fast. Stat. Because the way you look, YouTube, TikTok, you need to level it out here. Something ain't working in your favor. And no, I'm not going to be nice. I can't stand her.
Confusion. This post here is making headways all over social media right now. People are questioning the date and time because this shows that this tweet was done after
You can't.
she was reported missing. Or does it? According to the comments here, and it does make sense, and I have confirmed this to be true, that the tweet would have shown whatever time zone you were in. So it appears that this may have come after or come before, right before she called 911 reporting a child on the side of the road and then ultimately disappearing and has not been seen or heard from her family since.
The post says, yeah, I want a family now. And they couldn't even figure out timestamps on Twitter. Oh, Lord, help us all.
However, this also gives another layer here because don't you think it's odd she's talking about a family right before she reports a child missing? Not that it is any connection to it, but I think...
Not that it's any connection to it, but I'm just going to sensationalize it and put it into the whole universe that maybe there could be something there. What were you trying to allude to? The fact that you thought maybe she was snatching a child on the side of the fucking road, Betty? You are so dumb. It's painful to watch you. It's painful to watch you drum up these thoughts and theories in your head because you don't even have them straight in your head. You just throw shit out of your ass. You are not true crime. You are true grime.
It may be a clue.
And it was.
Oh,
Sorry.
Hey guys, Bullhorn Betty.
Right.
So
it was a clue to what? A clue to that you're a fucking idiot? That's the only clue it gave us, that you're a fucking idiot, Betty. You're a fucking idiot. Tell me what clue this gave us. She came home. We don't know anything more than that. Thank God she's found safe. Thank God she's alive. And the only clues it gave us is what a complete ignorant asshole you are.
There we go. But it was a clue. She was saying, yeah, I want a family now. And it has tears coming down. Yeah, I want a family now. And this was literally...
Betty, how many posts like that have you made on your social media over the years? I want to know. Were those before you assaulted people? Just asking for a friend.
Like 11 minutes before she reported seeing a boy, a toddler on the side of a busy interstate. So it was at this point when I found this that my mind started changing a little bit as to what really happened that took place here.
If you would have any type of brain, by looking at the videos, you would have been able to understand that there was more to the situation at hand as is. If you had any type of investigative skills or research skills, you would have been able to realize that there was a lot of things in the video of the traffic that didn't quite make sense. Now, again, I don't know what factually happened. I'm not here to speculate or make anything worse for this family, because let's say she is going through a mental health crisis. Let's just say that. We don't know, but let's say that. Can you imagine how much worse these people are going to make it by all the speculation and all the bullshit? Instead of waiting for law enforcement to come out, nobody can have the patience for that. They just got to make it into something that nobody knows what actually happened yet. Thank God she's home. That's all I'm going to continue to say is thank God she's home and she's alive.
And since then, and it was probably about, this was done, and then I think this was, I don't even know what time I submitted this. It doesn't give me a time on here, but this was done a couple hours before she showed up at her house. So I posted this, and then she showed up at her house so I didn't know that this was like that.
Oh, let me guess. Betty cracked the case because Betty put this out a couple hours before. That's what scared her to go home. Is that where we're headed with this next, Betty?
That wasn't the purpose of me reporting that. I just happened to find it very odd. And then she shows up, so it was a little crazy there, but
Now we're starting to talk about
Only thing crazy is you.
hoax, and everybody on social media is either like screaming at people saying, wait a minute, it's not a hoax, this really happened, she's in shock. We don't know that, and they're telling us that we're misinforming the public, but they themselves are also misinforming the public because they have no information. I think I have more facts on my side to support the fact that this story isn't what it seems.
Where the fuck are your facts, Betty? You have the same facts everybody else has. Nobody knows what is going on. And it's frankly none of our fucking business. Thankfully, she's home. There you go.
There are a few reasons that I'm stating that, and we're going to go over a few more. But I want you to watch my unpopular viewpoint on TikTok, and then we'll get to the actual factual information that you have, that I will show you why I came to the conclusion that I came to. And actually, this kind of gives you an update on why I came to the conclusion that I came to.
This bitch just unied us. That's all she's doing. You guys realize that, right? She's circle talking y'all into oblivion. She is Uni. I found your sister. This is your sister. I think you guys would make a perfect team. She is a circle talking, complete propagandist, shoving, ignorant fool.
Hey guys, Bullhorn Betty here. So many of you know that social media has been blowing up ever since Carly Russell has been found. We have many creators coming out and saying, everybody, please just give her a minute. Let's find out what happened. There are some literally condemning people for stating that they believe this may be a hoax. And my point is everybody needs to kind of calm down a little bit. But I do want to tell all those people that are wagging their finger at the people that think this is a hoax and telling them they should.
Wagging your finger?
And think that way, and shame on them for doing so. But let's look at the facts of the case. I don't need a law enforcement officer to tell me what to think. We have a lady that stopped on the side of the road, said there was a kid there. There is no kid. The family member on there knew that they were talking to her because they know what Carly's voice is and heard her scream. We know that law enforcement, since she has been found, has made no public statement looking or an outcry for a child, has made no public statement for abductors that have taken her, kidnapped her, held her captive, armed her for 2 days. She almost died. And we hear nothing from law enforcement trying to help find the animals that did this to her. And then other people are wagging their finger at these.
Wagging your finger. What the fuck is wagging your finger? Can anybody enlighten me in the comment section for a moment on that? What is wagging your finger? Wagging your tail? I don't have a fucking tail, Betty. Sorry. This one. Ugh.
These very people and telling them shame on you for thinking of it. I'm sorry. I find that very offensive to me.
You find anything offensive? You're a fucking Karen.
In this world, had anybody else done this,
need I remind everybody what you pulled at Ashley Furniture?
It would have been a totally different story. Put Bullhorn Betty in the situation. Had I done this,
oh, poor Betty.
Do you think people would be out here saying, oh, let's calm down. Let's find out what happened. No, they would be condemning me and damning me to hell for doing something like this. And granted, I'm not asking people to do that to Carly. I believe something truly happened to her, but I don't think it's an abduction. I think she lied. I don't know whether this was a mental health break or whether or not she has.
So you don't know whether it was a mental health break or not, and you are still saying that she lied. You don't know if she was in a mental health break, what she was seeing, if she was hallucinating, if she was having audio and visual impairments. You have no fucking clue. You said it yourself. You don't know if it was a mental health break. So shut the fuck up. Because mental health issues are not a fucking hoax. Period, point blank, end of story. And I'm sick of it being called that. I don't know what the facts are in this. Nobody does at this point in time. But mental health issues will never be considered a hoax. First and foremost, she was missing for 48 hours. Tell me where the fucking hoax is in that.
emotional issues and needed attention, whatever the reason is. I'm sorry, me personally, I don't believe it was an abduction. I don't believe a child was on the road. And I believe law enforcement is speaking very clearly and very loudly in their silence. So before you start pointing your finger and being nasty to people for thinking this could be a hoax, look at their perspective and be kind to them as well. God bless you.
Take your God bless you and shove it up your ass, Betty. Sorry, I can't stand the faith manipulation of this whole thing. The whole go to church with me on Sunday as she, I can't stand it. I can't handle it. She is nothing but a manipulative, ignorant. There's so many adjectives and verbs that fit her. Anyways, let's continue on. I'm trying to be semi-decent because it's hard.
Words of wisdom. But in all fairness, those are really the nuts and bolts of why this really smells like like a hoax. Or this is what I kind of foresee happening. I could be totally off base here. I really could be. We're going to get to a comment here, a video portion segment of it, and it's going to kind of solidify my position. But what I think happened here is, whatever reason, I think she didn't want to go home, or something happened. In all fairness, I heard, me personally, I couldn't corroborate it, so I'm going to flag it as rumor. But it could.
I'm going to flag it as a rumor, but I'm going to continue to pass it off to my audience so you can run around and spread it like it's factual, because that's how she gets her theories out there. And her little cronies going scatter like little ants, carrying the misinformation all over.
Could be true. I heard she was drinking earlier that night.
Oh,
when she went and got food, I heard that she was she was drinking.
How would you even find that out? How would you, of all people, find that out?
She was drinking alcohol. So I don't know if other things may have transpired, or even if that's even true. But it may have, impaired some judgment.
Wow.
If it is true. So I think she may have just wanted to get away. Maybe she had a bad day at work. Maybe she just didn't want to go home. Maybe she didn't want to deal with the boyfriend. Maybe she just wanted a break, and she didn't expect it to get so big. She expected people to maybe look for her or whatever, but her being an adult, maybe she didn't think it was going to blow up and become such a national news segment. And when she realized that it was getting serious, she panicked, and may have had to come up. Now, again, this is just my opinion of what I truly believe.
Well, your opinions fucking suck, just as bad as your hair color.
That happened. But
and your eyebrows, don't even get me started on those bitches. Can you at least pluck them so they're even? Because they're bushy in the wrong spots and they're not helping you at all.
Well, here's the facts. This is kind of what we have, Robin. And maybe they're not enough facts for you to make a determination. This is just for me. We definitely know she definitely made the 911 call about the toddler. Okay, so it was her voice. She was with her car. We know that her sister-in-law was on the phone with her and heard her scream. We have the video of her pulling up to that sign with her flashers already on. And when she pulled up to that, from the time she pulled up to that sign to the time she got out, you're talking about a minute and 20 seconds. And then 3 minutes later, law enforcement are right behind her. So there was no possibility of somebody being in front of her or behind her. So we know she was with her phone and her car, and made that 911 call. And we know by the video that was released of the traffic camera, nobody else was with her. There was nobody. There was one image, and one image only.
I love these rocket scientists who can tell you exactly what was in the video and what wasn't, who say, we saw this, and this. Really? You saw all of that. Do you know how easy it is to look at a video over and over again that's not very clear, clean it up a million times, and convince yourself that you're seeing things that you're not, or convince yourself that you're not seeing something because other people? That is so easy to do. And I've seen so many people take that video and run with it and literally push in a theory based on, well, you can see this if you do this, this, and this, and then tell people that they can see things that, I'm sorry, I'm just factual. You can see somebody walk around. You can see somebody open the passenger door. You can see somebody walk around the other side of it. That's basically that.
There was only one shadow and one shadow only. So those are factual that you
Yeah.
can't dispute.
Alma, right?
And then we have her returning home on foot, which it sounds, if she had this, I mean, hear me out. I had a tragic situation that happened in my life, okay, in my 20s.
And everything she has to relate to some sort of personal story. Poor Betty is the victim. It's always got to, and a lot of times I even do the same thing though. I will pull from personal experience or personal things that I understand. Totally different how Betty does it. Betty makes herself the victim and attention seeks in every one of these stories. Doesn't matter who it's about.
And I didn't walk home. I ran to the nearest law enforcement officer or the nearest payphone to call 911. Now, granted, this day and age, there's not payphones out there like there was when I was 20. But not to flag down any passerby, not to scream bloody murder, not to say, oh my God, I have been kidnapped. I was trapped. I need help. I need somebody to come get me right now. I just broke free.
These people and their understanding of shock and trauma is mind-blowing to me.
My life was in danger. None of that. She just walks home and knocks on the front door. Those are facts that are told to us by law enforcement. So those are the facts. Now we put those facts together and we say, okay, so we know there was no boy, and law enforcement has even come out and said that they don't believe a boy was there. So now we have no child. She definitely called 911. She definitely called her family. She screamed. There was a single person at her passenger side door. We know there was stuff scattered on the ground. Scattered.
We know all this, huh? You were there on scene. You've got access to all of the things. Law enforcement releases a tiny bit of what they need people to know and understand, and they keep most of it close to the vest. We really don't know shit.
On the ground. Her wig on the ground. Almost like a signs of a struggle. I mean, an elaborate production there at her car.
An elaborate production. An elaborate production is what she's calling this. Again, completely uneducated, ignorant fucking fool you are, Betty. Do you understand mental health crises at all? I mean, obviously not. Do you understand psychosis, mental breaks? Do you understand that sometimes when people go through any type of episode, again, I'm not saying that this is what it is, but just in general, they can do all sorts of things. They can feel like their own hair. That's why people pull their hair out. The fact that her wig is laying on the ground doesn't mean some elaborate scheme. She also just got off work. You know how common it is in heat for people to take their wigs off? You are so fucking ignorant. It's unbelievable.
She comes home and law enforcement is not screaming from the rooftops to help find this little boy that she was abducted with. And they're not.
And I'm sure this triggers the shit out of you. This is so hard because no matter what the case may be, we don't know enough details at this point in time. No matter what the situation may be, I hope it is not this, whatever the case may be. I don't care. Even if it is, at the end of the day, I'm going to be like, hell yeah, she's home. She's fine. Because there's something bigger going on here. But Betty is just an ignorant fool. She thinks she knows everything. She thinks she knows how everybody acts. You should have this certain, just like we saw them do with body cam. Well, you're not reacting like this, or you're not crying, or you're not showing emotion, or you're not. These people have no understanding of reality.
Screaming from the rooftops saying, hey, there is a person out there snatching women up and holding them hostage against their will in a hotel room. So we've been around the block a time or two here.
Absolutely.
Where we've watched enough breaking cases to know the press conference of something like this that has this much news associated with it. A press conference would be going on. A press conference would have been going on 2 hours after she was found. They would be coming and saying, oh my gosh, this was a great day. Guys, you social media, you guys are amazing. You saved this woman's life. You know, mainstream media.
Social media saved this woman's life. Did you pay attention to law enforcement's response? And I have to give props to Hoover Police Department, because I tell you what, if you listen to those dispatch calls, they were on it. They took this seriously and kicked into high gear. There was no hesitation. There was none of this, well, what if? They completely went into gear and didn't give up. I have to say the law enforcement response on this was incredible from what I saw and how responsive they were and instantly went into gear. You know, anyways.
Yeah, thank you for putting her picture out there and taking this national. This was a joint effort. We were able to save this woman's life from this extreme so-and-so. Here's the description of the people we need to be looking for in connection with this. If you have any information, please call law enforcement immediately. Go and look at your cameras. Go look at pull your still photos, pull your video, right? That would be what we would be hearing right now. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong that is not what we would be hearing right now from law enforcement. This is not our first rodeo, folks.
Betty, you are the sheep in the rodeo. That's what you are.
Not our first rodeo. Now
every case plays out exactly the same. Betty's an expert. Prove her wrong. Bitch, you prove yourself wrong. We don't have to do that.
We have crickets from law enforcement. Here's what.
Because they're waiting to gather the facts before they come out and say a bunch of bullshit that they don't know is true right now. That's why law enforcement are professionals. That's why you're an idiot with an asshole YouTube channel that just throws wild speculation at everything. Hey, Betty, how does it feel that Down the Rabbit Hole news passed you in numbers? I just wanted to ask. You're such an expert, but she's over here doing the things legit. And she's on her way to, I think, 27K, 26K. Man, somebody with ethics and morals, how they do it, versus somebody with wild speculation. I bet that chaps your ass, doesn't it?
Here's what we're hearing from law enforcement. Find it.
I'm not usually this mean. I just can't stand this one. Actually, I'm usually this mean. Never mind. I'm lying. I'm really this mean all the time. Look at her. Oh.
No press conference. This is as much as we're going to get from law enforcement right now. This does not seem extreme or urgent to me.
Questions, then answers.
We're sure that she called 911 from the interstate, and we're sure that a few minutes later, when the police arrived, she was not there, and there wasn't a toddler there either.
While one witness says they saw a gray car pulled in front of Russell's vehicle and a man standing outside of her car, police haven't announced any leads.
You know, there's still forensic stuff that hasn't come back yet. There's just things that we want to have to make sure that we understand again exactly what took place, and then again during that 48, 49 hours.
Yeah, and while police are continuing to investigate Russell's disappearance, they are not currently digging into one of the most confounding aspects of this case, the lost toddler that Russell reported to 911.
And there you have it. So they're waiting for forensics to come back. But again, if there was somebody holding her against her will, they clearly have nobody under arrest. And you cannot tell me they would not have that person's description to the public.
Does she not realize how many people, how many women and men are assaulted on a daily basis, sexually assaulted, held against their own will by family members, by people that are close to them that they never find? Do people realize that that's a common occurrence, unfortunately, that people are assaulted, violated all the time, and there's never a suspect that is found? Do you know how many unsolved rape cases we have? Again, I'm not saying that any of this happened in this story, But she is so ignorant. Do you know how many?
To be on the lookout for this man that abducted this woman and held her captive for 2 days. This unknown assailant, according to her boyfriend. So, you know, here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, we feel bad for everybody. I feel bad for this young woman. I really do.
Yeah, you feel real bad for her. That's why you're saying she's a liar. That's why you're saying it's a hoax. That's why you're saying even if it was a mental health break, blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up, Betty. You don't care about anybody but yourself. Okay, that's it. That's all. That's 100% the fact. You are just like all the rest of these assholes that exploit these tragedies, no matter what the case may be. She was missing for 2 days. Her family was fucking worried sick, along with the entire town. Across the country, people are genuinely concerned about this young girl. No matter what the case may be, she's home. She's alive. That's all we know, and that's all we are really entitled to know. And I hope whatever the case may be, she is getting, whether it's help she needs, rest she needs, whatever it may be. I hope she's getting it.
You know, I'd like to know why she did it, but at this point, I don't believe her story. Do I think she did this for attention? I don't think she did it for publicity attention. You know, if she did do this for attention, I think she was trying to get attention of a significant other, or maybe attention from her family that she feels she's not getting. I don't really believe the whole mental breakdown aspect of this. And the only reason why I'm not, because there was too many strategic actions. There was too much in my mind planning for a mental break, such as dragging the wig, putting the wig out there, making it look like there was a struggle.
Making it look like there was a struggle because her wig was on the ground. Granted, we don't really know where it was, what it was in. Oh, dear Lord, baby Jesus, there ain't enough woosah in this world for me to handle this bitch. You have no understanding of the mental health crises or anything that goes on.
That was very strategic in my mind. And so since it was a strategic act to...
So if you're having a mental break, you could not just, you know, your head start itching, you start sweating, you go into a frantic, paranoid, anything. Again, not claiming that that's what happened, but that is so common for people going through mental health crises. All of these things are common. Hallucinations, audio, there's so many things. And if you have never had to experience that or never had a loved one experience that, consider yourself lucky. If you're as ignorant as Betty about mental health, consider yourself lucky.
To set the scene, so to speak, it removes the mental break out of my mind, because a mental break, you're not acting in a strategic situation.
But she wouldn't have been able to act strategic according to what you're saying anyways, because you claim that you heard, even though it's just a rumor, but you're passing it off as fact. Well, it's in the rumor file, I guess. Still spreading misinformation, but you said she was drinking, so
you're losing your stuff. You're not walking around a car and pulling stuff out of your car on your passenger side. So that's why. Now, could it have been, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, so it's possible she could have. I'm just saying, from where I'm sitting in my knowledge, it just seemed like there was a lot of strategic action from her that would not bode with the whole breakdown scenario. But again, I'm not her, but I do pride myself of not misleading my audience.
Oh, hell, what? Betty, that's all you do is mislead your audience with ignorance. The only reason why you have a channel is because, unfortunately, there's a lot of people out here that are like you. Well, some of us just like to watch the train wreck too, but Unfortunately, there's a whole group of you that feel the same way because of your ignorance.
And I just, as much as I hope she didn't do this, and I hope she doesn't have a lot of, horrible repercussions from this. I just, for me and everything that I understand about this case, it just doesn't, and not only just this case, understand about police behavior, right? It's not really necessarily about the case or the victim. When we're looking at it from this angle, we know the behaviors of law enforcement in a situation like this, and the behaviors from a law enforcement are not behaving as if it's a situation.
Ellie, you're not behaving how Betty thinks you should behave. She wants you to behave in a way that she can criticize and, get her bullhorn out and scream at you, tell you off. Hey, Betty, how's your case going with Chatham County? I thought you were going to take that sheriff down, or what was his name? I know somebody in the comments will know his name. I thought you were going to take them for all they had and they weren't done with you yet. Whatever happened to that?
That has been told to us, at least by the boyfriend, as he made his statement to public.
And these people that take the family statements and run with them and constantly are like, but that's what the family said. Do you understand that when people are in these chaotic situations, they say a lot of things because they don't really understand what's going on? They also are emotional. They're exhausted. They're like, to take a family statement or somebody's and like pick it point by point apart and be like, nope, they said this. They did that same thing with Kylie Roddy's family. They did the whole thing, and it's gross. It's gross. We don't even know the stress that they were under.
Public. So people were asking the statement. I don't have, well, I kind of do have the statement,
Hadley.
but it's on my, it's on
Chief Hadley. I thought you were gonna, he wasn't done hearing the last of you.
On my TikTok, because I don't have it up.
The TikTok.
So let me pull the TikTok back up.
Betty, get a filter on TikTok.
Watch it from the TikTok, and I read it, so that'll be the, I think it's this one.
The fact that she's using herself.
So, hey guys, this is making headways right now on the streets of social media. I don't know what my audience believes here, because there's a lot of mixed information going on in absence of actual facts coming from law enforcement. And this is believed to be the boyfriend here of Carlee Russell. And as he is trying to explain to people, he says, I don't even know how to start off this post, but to only say thank you to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for saving my girlfriend's.
She literally said, this is the person believed to be the boyfriend, but just 5 minutes ago, she is like, no, this is what he said. This is what it means. This is
life. Also, thank you to everyone who shared a picture, came out to Hoover, met to help us with the search parties, and who went and proceeded to tell others about Carlee and bring awareness to her story. I have been going nonstop since I received the call that she was missing on Thursday night. I know she would have done the same for me, so I wasn't going to give up until I saw her face again. I was straight tunnel vision, even when I got out on social media on my downtime and see some of the false allegations and assumptions about me having something to do with her abduction would have me discouraged at times, but didn't give up. I kept my faith. I just want to say thank you to all my family, friends, former teammates, church members who called and texted me to let me know that they are praying for me. You guys don't know how much it meant for me. All I ask from everyone right now is to be respectful of Carlee's situation. She was literally fighting for her life for 48 hours. So until she's physically and mentally stable again, she is not able to give any updates or whereabouts on her kidnapper at this very moment. I also want to thank the people on social media who has been understanding and respectful about the situation. Before I go any further, you heard that she was literally fighting for her life for 48 hours. Now,
we don't know if she was physically fighting for her life. Again, you are making bold assumptions off of ignorance.
Now, is the police...
Because when I hear that, what I perceive that as is, She was missing for 48 hours. No matter what the circumstance may be, she was fighting to get back to her family. Now, that could look a million different ways. Yes, he mentioned a kidnapper, but we don't know what he had even talked to her about by this time. If he had even talked to her, he could have still been under the assumption that she was taken. She could have been taken. We don't know. We have no idea the communication he had with her by the time he found out she was found till the time he made that post. He might not have had any communication with her. He might have just been spewing whatever he thought was possible.
Police behavior, what we know of true crime, because this is stuff that we live and breathe day in and day out. I'm going to ask everybody in my audience, is the behavior of law enforcement that of somebody that was fighting for her life for 48 hours? That is all I'm going to ask each and every one of you. I can't make that decision for you. I'm giving you the information here, but the one part that I'm going to say is that is law enforcement's behavior indicative of a woman being fighting for her life by an unknown abductor that plucks women, single women, off the side of interstates?
We have no idea. I'm not trained to read law enforcement's behavior. They behave differently in every situation. They hold things close to the vest in every situation. We don't know what they know or why they're saying what they're saying. We have no idea. That's why you look like an idiot and an asshole when you come out here and say things off of unverified information and a bunch of rumors and speculation and gossip. Why can't you just be happy that she's found safe? She's home safe. Why can't you just be happy with that?
I'll wait.
I can't with her.
Yeah. Because I mean, if we want to believe her statement, that's fine. You know, I'm not trying to victim shame or anything like that, but there's definitely something going on here. And, you know,
calling her a liar, saying that it definitely not mental health because it was calculated. It was a scene, basically, that she had set up some elaborate scene, basically, is what you're claiming to be, but you're not victim shaming at all, right? Sure, Betty.
In a situation like this, I'm looking at the behaviors of law enforcement. We talk about that all the time because we look at what, you know, law enforcement says in their statements and pick them apart and read between the lines all the time. I mean, this right here is screaming volumes in law enforcement's silence.
Yeah.
You've got a person that was plucked off the side of a road, doing nothing wrong, and just plucked off the side of the road, and was fighting for her life for 48 hours and not one press conference, not one. I believe police never believed this story.
Oh my God, y'all. Did you just see that comment that was on the screen? I didn't even realize that. And she pinned that fucking comment. She pinned that comment.
Story.
These people are disgusting. This is disgusting to me. All of these people sensationalizing this, running with wild conspiracies, all of wait. We don't know the outcome of this case. We don't know what's going to happen here. She's home safe. That's it. Until law enforcement says more.
That's a good point. That is a good point. I definitely don't take the statement fighting for her life as meant in a literal way, maybe figuratively, but definitely not literally. Oh, good perspective as well. Good perspective as well.
Shocker.
Also notice her reporting a child on the road doesn't harm or implicate anyone. Interesting.
Absolutely, Nikki.
And then it would go again to the strategy. So, yeah, interesting. What does Connie say? Connie says, for her life for 48 hours, she would not have been taken to the hospital and released within a couple hours. They would have kept her there for at least overnight for observation. Many of us know. Yeah, and she may have. I don't know when she was actually released from the hospital. I don't have that. She could have very well been there overnight for all we know. I don't have information one way or another. I just know that she was released from the hospital, but I don't know what the timing of that release was. But there's just a lot of things. I would have to think it would be the duty of law enforcement personally if they had somebody that abducted this lady and held her against her will, and she was fighting for her life, whether actually or figuratively. I still feel that they would either have somebody arrested in connection with this, or they would have had to put out a description of this male that they're trying to apprehend in connection with this brutal attack on her.
Why does she assume it's male?
It would be one or the other, because
honestly, she's assuming a whole lot of stuff here. She's putting in a whole lot of details that nobody ever has confirmed. I can't. This is the misinformation that continues to go.
If she was on the side of the interstate and somebody abducted her, she wouldn't know who that abductor was, because what are the chances of somebody that is intentionally trying to abduct her know that she was going to put her flashers on and pull over a car right there on a busy interstate at 9:30 at night? I mean, what are the odds of somebody knowing her doing that?
The risk was extremely high as is, because they would have had to. I mean, there is things like that. But again, Betty is putting in pieces of information that are not factual to this to make her story or her argument sound good. These aren't facts that law enforcement even released. Law enforcement came out and said they will give more details when they are ready. They're not ready yet. So let them do their job.
You see what I'm saying? Like when you put this stuff together, that's why I'm offended when people say that this is not a hoax or not a lie of some sort.
What happened to you? If you're so factual, why do you hem and haw all over the point? You cannot even speak clearly because you don't even know what you're trying to say. You're not victim shaming though, right? But you're offended when people say it's not a lie or a hoax. Bitch, sit the fuck down. Sit down.
It's because it's offensive to me, because you're insulting my intelligence here. Right? You're insulting my intelligence. The person
insulting Betty's intelligence. Bitch, where? I've been on here for a year and I haven't seen anything intelligent out of you yet. Not one thing, and that's factual. Sorry. Insulting your intelligence, bitch, you have to have intelligence to insult it. You don't have that.
Person would be apprehended and in jail, and again, a press conference.
What?
Or the person would be at large, and again, a press conference. No matter how you look at it, this would get a press conference unless they don't want to bring any other negative light to this young woman's life, because they realize it was a lie, that she fabricated information, and now they just don't want her to have to go through any more than she needs to go through as far as embarrassment and public shame. That's kind of what the behavior of law enforcement right now, and there was a significant,
because law enforcement is waiting until their investigation is completed to make a final statement. Betty has concocted that all of these other things are going on. They're doing this, and their response is because they're trying to, oh my God.
And heavy financial cost for the search. I mean, you just heard the chief police talking about forensics. That's going to cost thousands, tens of thousands of dollars for that community to run that. So I have a funny feeling she is going to be held accountable for this, and they are going to be. I feel at some point she's going to be held accountable for this, short of her having a mental breakdown, right? If this was intentional and they can prove that this was intentional to get attention, I have a funny feeling that she will be facing heavy consequences from this. If they deem this as her, having a mental break and the state is just unwilling to prosecute this, then maybe that's the case. But short of them coming out and telling me that there is truly somebody
telling you
at large, and then if they do that at this point, I will be screaming at why did it take law enforcement so long to come out knowing this lunatic was running the streets of their community and they kept it quiet? Can you imagine the backlash law enforcement would get?
Look how excited she is thinking about that. Oh, I might get to go after law enforcement once again. I thought you backed the Blue Betty.
If that was the case.
Let them do their freaking jobs. They're the professionals. You're just the idiot that thinks somebody's insulting your intelligence that's non-existent.
So I really think they're backing off and not real and giving vague statements because you know, I don't think this young lady expected it to get the national attention it did. I figured they just thought she was lost. She'd come home. No big deal, right? A runaway kid. She's an adult. So, you know, it's in everybody's mind. If you're an adult and you disappear, nobody does a damn thing. Well, you know, we just showed the world we do a damn thing when we believe somebody
We
has been abducted and did not freely walk on their own. We kick and scream and we move mountains to find them. We move mountains to find them, and we move.
You kick and scream on a daily basis, but that's just because you look in the mirror.
To mountains to find her.
You ain't moving nothing. You haven't moved your ass out of that chair except to that freaking old printer and back. You don't move.
And it's a damn shame that we're here.
Oh, wait, I forgot. You were excited to move your ass up to Alabama to exploit this case for clicks and views. Unfortunately for you, she came home or was dropped off at home or whatever the situation may be before you could do that. That's probably why you're salty, isn't it, Betty?
You know, talking about it possibly.
Isn't it sick to think that these people seemed more excited about the fact that she would be found deceased or something really tragic would have happened? It's almost like she rained on their parade because she was found unharmed, or I shouldn't say unharmed. She was found alive.
Being a hoax. Because so many people came together, and I hope if it was a hoax or a mental break, and I really do hope she thanks the people that came out to help her.
Oh my God.
And I hope she apologizes to the public for her behavior, if it truly is true. You know, I mean, I don't.
You think she owes you an apology?
Want to be, you know, I don't want to not understand. Everybody goes through some. She's 25 years old. She might just, you know, at 25, I remember when I turned 25 years old, I remember sitting in my living room, drinking. I was crying. I was eating a box of chocolates. I was drinking the champagne because I like Asti Spumante, you know, the Rossi Asti Spumante. So it's like champagne, you know, what people use.
Wait, I thought this one claims she doesn't drink. I mean, we all know that's not the truth, but you drinking and eating chocolates, never. I would have never guessed. Go on.
Sweet champagne. And so I was drinking that out of the bottle, listening to sappy, sorry music, crying my eyes out when I turned 21, because it was the first time that I realized I was an adult. You know, that I'm really an adult, that it was scary for me, and I cried over it. So maybe she's going through something like that in her life, but either way, she should have came forward a lot sooner. She should have, you know, when she realized that this was picking up a life of its own, she should have came forward a lot sooner. That's my thought. So
your thoughts suck because we don't even have factual basis enough to make any of the assumptions that you've made. Oh God, stick to drinking and eating chocolates and shut the fuck up. Just stuff a bunch of them in your mouth so you're incapable of talking. That would be wonderful.
I don't know what you guys think about it. I really don't. Hold on just a second. I wanted to check a few things. And it's not going to be a long live today, guys. I'm extremely tired. I've been working nonstop for days. And
I love it when they all give this speech. I'm so worn out. I have been working so hard. I went to the movies. You know, I made a few TikToks. I passed off some misinformation on the internet. I eBayed for this. I exploited this. It's such a tough job. Betty, shut up. Just shut up. You fail at life. Period. Point blank. End of story. You are a failure.
We got more to talk about today.
Oh, Lord.
New docs released from Brian Koberger, guys. If
Oh.
you guys are following the Brian Koberger case, this is the Idaho 4.
Nope. You know me. I don't do Idaho 4. Nope. That won't happen because I will kick a bitch. I stay away from the Idaho 4 case for a reason. But speaking of the Idaho 4 case, let's touch on it for a minute. I'm not going to go into what she says about it. I can't handle it personally. I know people that know the victims. I coach soccer in Post Falls for a long time. I know some of these kids when they were young. All of those kids are from Coeur d'Alene. We have connections anyways. I don't speak on this stuff because there's a reason for it. I told you guys at the beginning of the Idaho 4 case, it was too hard for me, but watching what they've turned this case into in Atlanta, that truth and transparency, and a lot of people like her all day long exploit that case and twist it and turn it and have made it into a complete and utter spectacle. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, working so hard, scrolling Twitter and picking. Well, she's also going through and screenshotting shit for her next LOL suit. Her next LOL suit. Her and her frivolous lawsuits. Mad Dog 2020, but I can't. They have turned the Idaho 4 case into, and what they have done to the surviving victims is absolutely, yeah, blank screen, right? Oh, I just can't. It is such a hard day for her to sit there and pass off misinformation and exploit these victims' tragedies and condone, like she condones that girl's behavior. I don't know. It's like Pandora's box. There is unlimited supply of these people who exploit these tragedies and turn them into everything. And there's a very fine line. Oh, and just so you guys know too, there is a lot of true crime creators that I actually like. There is actually some that do it very ethically, very victim focused, or even the ones that aren't victim focused, but they're just fact basis and talk about the mindset and all of that stuff. There's great creators out here. It's just not in this arena. It's not these people that get involved in this stuff. They do their videos, they create their content. They're not just a reactionary channel. A lot of these people are just reviewing news articles and passing it off that there's some sort of YouTube true crime stuff. That's not what true crime creators do. There are some really good ones, but there is some foul. Oh, I can't stand him. Headstones and headlines. Tyler Feller. That's another one. That one needs blasted all over the hell. He is a grifting, slimeball, manipulative prick, in my opinion. Hey, Heels. Absolutely backup hipster. I am not lumping everybody in that field. But it's sad because, of course, where I sit, I see more of the bad. Of course, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for those people. But I also try to go give credit where credit is due. I have weaseled my way around, and there's some that I'm like, okay, well, I can get with you on this, but I can't with this. You know, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of give and take, but it's hard because there is a lot of big creators that do real fucked up shit. There is some real big creators, and they get passes for it. It just sucks. Oh, speaking of which, we'll do that tomorrow. I got to get off here, though. My in-laws are actually coming today. I'm excited. My in-laws will be here for the night. Tyler, I don't know if he sells coffee beans. He's got a whole grift that goes around faith manipulation. And y'all know, like, if you're new here, by the way, I'm triggered to fucking back about faith manipulation. I completely don't disregard everybody's beliefs, and you're totally entitled to them until you start using it as leverage or manipulation tactics and all of that shit. Then we got issues. But I respect all the different views. Totally each their own. Just don't pull your culty shit around me because I'll smack you. Oh, Grizzly. Yeah, Grizzly True Crime is another one that I have seen a lot of good. Oh, Duty Ron. Y'all know I love Duty Ron. I love Duty Ron. Love Duty Ron. But do you know how many cases? I was talking about this to somebody the other day. There are so many missing persons cases that have gotten no traction, no vision, no nothing, that have sat there forever. And people only seem to go for the trending cases. It's really fucking sad. It's really, really sad. Permanent restraining order. You know, some of these people, I don't know, something's got to change. I don't know how to even wrap my brain around it, but somehow it's got to change that it's not so easy for these people to exploit. Yeah, T, there was some things with that too that people said. JLR. JLR is my favorite. I'm just joking. I can't stand him. He needs to blink. He needs kicked just to see if he blinks. Like, just walk up to him and kick him in the shins and watch and see if he blinks. I don't even think he'd blink then. I'm joking. I'm not suggesting anybody kick anybody. I'm just saying. I don't even know if you kick him in the shins, if he'd blink. Hello? Earth, anybody in there? All he does. I just want to go, thank you for letting me cuss her out. I haven't got to do that in a while. I stay away from Betty because she triggers me so bad. So badly. Like, but tomorrow I will be doing some content on Zav Girl and the Kylie Rodney. We're going to get back into that. I just wanted to rip on Betty today and talk about all this exploitation because now, unfortunately, Carly's story is turning into that fine line and they're starting to exploit it and making it into something else instead of being patient and waiting for facts to come out. It's disgusting. The whole Krama bullshit, I can't handle it. Want nothing to do with it. It is gross to me. There's no involvement that should be the same here. I don't even understand how people sleep at night knowing that they are making bank off of another family's worst moments and exploiting it by lying and all the misinformation. Oh, heels. I said trigger at the beginning of this one. I said trigger warning. I'm gonna cuss a bitch out. I don't cover Betty for a reason. I would get sued from her because that one, she's a special type of like ignorant. I can't even understand it. Like she is uni in female form. That's it. That's all. Headstones and Headlines. You guys make sure you go check out Headstones and Headlines. She does a great job with Betty coverage. Absolutely. Heels does great coverage with all of them. Burnt Toast does a really good coverage. Blank Screen's been doing great coverage on BHB. Who's going live? Headstones, are you going live later? Any of you guys? Yeah, I know, Heels. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I keep saying, bring it on. Take me to court. I don't care. You would have to, in order to prove, you have to prove that it's not factual. She's a dumb bitch. That's factual. I'm sorry to say it. Oh, Mario, thank you for subbing. Welcome to the shit show. I don't claim to be anything but a professional asshole on YouTube. That's it. That's all. You're going on after Burnt Toast. Heels you'll be on her panel. Perfect. Okay, there you go. Forgotten is going live tonight. Burnt Toast is going live with BHB and Vada content. Headstones and Headlines is going on. Heels is going on. All right, you guys got a bunch of them to subscribe to. We've got a great group. Forgotten, you just need to get on the daytime schedule, though. I can't stay up that late, so I have to listen to you while I'm doing errands around the house during the day, but it's always great. Thank you guys all for being here. Bash is live in a few. Thank you, Runs with Scissors. Great. There's a lot of great creators out here that are really doing the great things. So please understand that when I'm saying this, like it's not about everybody. Like there is some really good people to do this stuff, but there's also very few of us. Like there's not a lot of us. This sector is tiny of us that will stand here and say, we're sick of it. It is really, there's not many of us. It sucks. All right, y'all. See you guys around. Have a wonderful Monday. And I will see you guys tomorrow with some Zav Girl and Kylie Roddy. If you have not watched my video from last night about the Zav Girl situation and her apology, I really, really encourage you to watch that. The reason, not because it's my content, but because there's clips in there that she has since deleted. So, all right. Have a good day. Oh, Mario, I have a thing we call the Midwest goodbye. I say goodbye and then talk for like 10 minutes after too. You'll get used to it. I'm just your friendly asshole. Have a good day, y'all.